Have you looked up into the sky recently and have you seen the clouds? Because they're telling a story. And there's a communication, signs in the sky that are telling humanity about what's going on. I'm going to share with you some of those signs in the sky and what's going on. But let me start with why. Why is this communication happening right now? That's a very interesting story. So we've got earth elemental beings, and many of us in the spiritual community will be aware of the earth elemental kingdom. They're beings like the dragons and the little folk like the gnomes and the fairies. There are beings like Sasquatch who interact and interface with this elemental kingdom, and they are essentially a octave beyond, a vibrational octave beyond where we are right now. So to our eyes, they're invisible, but these are little beings of consciousness. Sometimes we see them as little flashes of light, and many of us are able to tune into their communication. Nonetheless, these are the earth elementals. Equally, there are sky elemental beings. Oh, and they are, many of them, not all, but many of them are utterly gargantuan. There are sky whales. And there are sky beings which would be kind of like you would expect them to be, these billowy, goddess type beings of the sky. The sky elementals are guardians of the sky in the same way that the earth elementals are guardians of the earth realm. But we've been taught that if something is non-physical, it's not important. That's how we were conditioned. That's what the false matrix told us. Feelings and emotions, override them, put on a face of makeup and a pretty dress, and no one's going to know that you are depressed as all hell on the inside. You're going to look successful, and that's really the most important thing. That's what the false matrix taught us. It taught us to disregard the world of energy. But if you come back into connection with yourself, you're going to start understanding that there is a byproduct to that connection with yourself, and that is this communication and connection with all consciousness. The sky elemental beings were not able to communicate with humanity for a very long time for two reasons. First of all, there was a lot of intervention in the atmosphere. There was a lot of negative intervention in the atmosphere. There were technologies being used to prevent the sky elementals from conversing with humanity. The other reason why was because humanity wasn't listening. And you know what it's like if somebody doesn't listen to you, you get bored and you stop speaking, because what's the point? Well, both of those two things have happened. Number one, there's been a very big cleanup of the sky. There's been a lot of galactic intervention, way more than I could ever explain to you, perhaps even way more than I understand. Galactic intervention has taken place wherein we have been protected, we have been fought for, we have been loved. Our best interests have always been the interests of our galactic family, but they operate in accordance with divine consciousness, with universal consciousness, which says our free will must lead. We must not be led, cannot be led by another being, because if we are, we're not going to ascend. And if we make it into ascension, it's got to be because we've led ourselves there. This is pivotal. This is critical. And if you're in a position at any point in your life where you're waiting for a savior, you've got to know that you're doing the exact opposite of what you're here to do as an ascending human. By the way, my name's Kerry K. I always forget to introduce myself. If you haven't watched me before, welcome to my channel. My handle on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube is the same, at iamkerryk. So you can find me wherever you are on social media. I teach people about spirituality, but specifically about the stuff that most people don't talk about. And that is that you are it. You are the reason, you are your purpose. You are the reason why you came here. You are the guru that you have sought, the answers that you seek. You are the miracle that you've craved. You are the answer to every question that you've ever asked. And my job is to shine a light and lead you to that divinity within you. And one of the hardest parts of my job is to help people who are so almost like in a knee-jerk response, so habituated to give their power away to others. That's an important part of today's conversation. That's why I'm bringing it in here. So many people are so habituated to seeking outside of themselves. Let me give you an example. There is a tendency in humanity to look at the external world and to say, well, nothing's changing, obviously. Nothing's changing because it all looks the same. We've still got authoritarian leaders, and they're just taking more power and more authority. So if anything, we're in a worse situation. There are people who might see that and therefore believe it. Because what they're doing is they're looking to the external world to start telling them the truth. But your job is to be the truth in an external world that is made up of illusion. So when you start speaking to the illusion and saying, hey, illusion, I want you to change. I want you to become my teacher. And I want you to start changing your tune and speaking to me about truth and showing me change. Then you're going to sit and perpetuate a limbo that you honestly don't want to be in anymore. It's the most exhausting place to be. Because right now we're being ushered into an inner power within ourselves that says, oh, but I'm here. I'm here to be the change. I'm here to be the power, to be the leader of my own life, to be the authority. I'm here to be me and to lead me and to not keep giving my power away to others. There is a tendency within humanity to want to give our freedom away, not just our power, but our freedom away. Do you know how we do that? Again, let me give you an example. We give our freedom away when we have a person in our life who has, for example, hurt us. We've all had that. And then we say, my life is buggered because of you. And if only you would make amends and come and fix it, I would be okay again. That's where we give our freedom away. Because what we're doing is we're saying to the other person, essentially, you're in charge of my happiness. And it's not a denial of their negative influence. I don't want you to deny it and say, oh, they didn't really hurt me. No, if another person hurt you, then that's the authentic truth. They hurt you. But instead of saying, I'm going to wait for you to make amends and for you to change your behavior and for you to no longer be toxic or whatever it might be, so that I can feel better, bye-bye freedom, bye-bye power. This is the consciousness that needs to shift in humanity. There's like this little click. Oh, actually, it's not a little click. It's a big click that needs to happen for humanity, wherein they realize, but I'm here to be the solution. I'm here to be the forgiveness or be the answer or be the healing that I crave. I am here to be the authority in my life and the one who's responsible for my happiness. When you become responsible for your own happiness, it's not to say that nobody can hurt you. They can. But it's to say that you can then heal you, that you can then move on. Now, I'm sharing this with you because there's a lot of people looking at the leaders of the world right now saying, hey, leaders, give me my power back, would you? Give me my freedom, would you? Which is the equivalent of a slave going to the slave master begging for their freedom back. But a slave is no longer a slave the moment that they know that they are free. No war needs to be waged. No fight needs to be fought. When you know that you are free, then it becomes very difficult for slave masters to carry on the illusion of slavery because nobody's going to believe them. And when the slaves are the masses and nobody believes the illusion anymore, then the illusion is finally powerless. Can you make the parallel? Can you see what I'm saying? When the so-called authorities of the world, because they know this, they know, you don't necessarily, but they know that the only reason that they're in power is because humanity believes that they are. At the galactic level, at the cosmic level, they are not powerful. They are not in power. Humanity is. Humanity has been conditioned for so long to believe in the illusion. And of course there are many people on the planet who are part of that illusion and who will fight to the death to uphold the illusion because they take their sense of safety and security in the illusion. But there are so many awakened ones. There are so many, but they don't speak. They don't broadcast. They don't shout. They don't tell the world. They live the truth. They live the truth. There's a silent, growing community, not of necessarily truth seekers, but of truth keepers. People who keep truth within them. And they are the many. And those authorities that I spoke about earlier, they know that the only reason that they're in power is because people believe that they are. And the longer people perpetuate that lie, the longer they keep those authorities in place. So there's a tipping point wherein humanity is being brought into a deliverance. That's a very purposeful word that I'm using. Brought into a deliverance. Deliverance refers to humanity's divinity being returned to them. That was what I saw in the clouds the other day. And it's not just something I saw, because when you start interacting with consciousness, you're not a passive observer. You're a participant in what you witness. And I was there witnessing this beautiful scene in the clouds. It was a very wintry day, so there was these very dark rain clouds across the sky, and the wind was blowing, so the clouds were moving pretty quickly. And I watched angels and demons, and I watched what appeared to be a war, and I was aware that's the spiritual warfare that we have all been under the spell of. What is spiritual warfare? It's where humanity's consciousness has been kept from them. And beings of darkness who perpetuate this, their whole modus operandi is to remain invisible, because if the enemy is invisible, you don't know that the enemy is even there. You think, oh, well, it must be me. Isn't that what humanity keeps coming to? They either blame themselves or each other. Hey, look at the mess you've made. Hey, look at the mess I've made. And remember what I said earlier about responsibility. This is not about making other people responsible for your happiness by saying, well, they need to change their behavior. Instead, it's about taking our power back. Deliverance is about our divinity and our power being restored. As I was watching this scene of spiritual warfare take place, it culminated with this angelic being holding a baby and handing the baby to me. This big hand coming through the clouds, and there was this form in the hand of the angelic being, and it was like a baby with this word deliverance. And I understood that it was the freedom of humanity. And I'm not saying, by the way, that it was given to me. I'm saying it, and me alone. I'm saying it's been given to all of us. It's been given to you. We keep asking for freedom, but we've been free for a very, very long time. We're the last ones to know. We're the last ones to realize it. And when we do, and we start acting as if we're free, then everything shifts and everything changes. It's the inner world that determines the external world. And it's the inner world which has been the most ignored place. I always tell you guys, you got to invest. And investment can be time, it can be money, it can be focus, it can be attention. You've got to invest in something when it's important to you and it's valuable to you. You got to make it valuable. Invest in your inner growth, in your inner world, in your energy, because that's the stuff that your world is made from. And of course, we were taught false matrix, everything upside down. We were taught that it was about the clothes, and it was about the material world, and it was about the ownership and the possessions. These were the things that determined your status in the world and even your happiness in the world. And if you weren't happy, just, put on a good old face of makeup and a brand new dress, and nobody will know the difference. That was, of course, we all know the story. We were all born to the same false matrix. But where we are right now is at this point of deliverance. The elemental beings of the sky are showing us that enough of a cleanup has happened to enable them to speak to us again. Enough of a cleanup has happened in the sky for us to understand that we are being protected. We have been protected. Wars have been waged. Demons have been fought. Battles have been won to protect humanity, to preserve our freedom. But the last ones to know are the last ones to act as if they are free, and these are us, the humans. Deliverance means it's time for you to understand that you've been led to your freedom and to live as if you are, not requiring anybody's permission, not requiring anybody's approval. This is the threshold that humanity is on. So let me know in the comments below about your signs in the sky, the clouds that you've seen. What have you seen? Because the angels are communicating, the heavens are speaking, the signs in the sky are telling you that something has already happened. I'm going to leave a video for you up here. If you're watching this on YouTube, then this is the next one that I'd love you to watch. From my heart all the way into yours, I do hope you feel it. Lots of love. Bye-bye for now.